So I thought about making another video tonight because I don't really I want to talk more about minimalism in college and everything like that, right? So I think I've made a video about this 2 years ago, but I want to tell you about how minimalism has impacted my life and why I made the choices that I did. And this is going to impact Stoicism, right? This is just going to be an overall life view because I was kind of venting earlier, but I want to actually explain my life plan in detail and why it's the way it is, right? So let's start back at I would say earlier this summer, right? When I guess I made a video on minimalism this summer, right? So let's go back to that, right? So initially I wanted minimalism because I don't know, I guess I was kind of in a minimalist like house. Like we were getting ready to move and it was really nice. And I followed this guy, Aaron Clary, and I really did agree with a lot of his values. And going into college, I wanted to live a minimalist lifestyle, and I kind of did. I kind of did live a minimalist lifestyle in I kind of did live a minimalist lifestyle in college, and it was nice. But the problem is, in college, my mental health declined, and pretty much it led me to being insecure about my grades and myself. And, as far as money, so here's the thing, right? Here's the thing about meteorology, and I might have explained this before. Meteorology is a worthless degree, right? You can say all you want. Okay, let me tell you, you're much better off than a sociology major, okay? Much better off. But that's not what I mean by worthless, right? The idea of college is not to educate your mind or follow your passion. Like Aaron Clary states, it is to increase the value of your time and services. It's to increase the value of your time per hour in society. That's it, right? Money, a salary, is a measure of how much your time is worth to society, basically, right? Economically, that makes sense, right? If you're an English teacher for high school, I mean, I guess it's kind of in demand, okay, but not really. I mean, well, not in high school, but you get it, right? Let's say you're a janitor, right? Well, a janitor is not as needed and not as rare, and same thing with a high school English teacher as somebody that's able to do calculus 2 and multivariable calc / calc 3 doing computer engineering. You see what I'm saying? And so meteorology, yes, it is a STEM degree, and yes, it requires a lot of calculus, it requires a lot of physics, it requires a lot of understanding of atmospheric systems, it requires some amount of programming, it requires knowing how to interpret statistical data with models. But here's the issue, right? While it's rare, nobody really cares, right? Okay, the National Weather Service cares. So, it's not like an IT degree. It's not like Microsoft is hiring weather people. It's not like all these companies nobody really cares about it, right? It's not a data interpreter, right? Like it's not like it's not like other jobs, you know? It's not like a technician. It's not like um, a data specialist or an engineer. It's just not as valuable to society. Like, society does not value it um, because, well, first of all, there are many weather systems in place now that are automated. Um, but second of all, it's just not in demand per location as some of these other jobs. So in reality, you have a low supply, right? I mean, meteorology is hard, so it's a lower supply of people, but also low demand, right? And so meteorology jobs pay the private. I mean, you have government jobs, NOAA / National Weather Service, and they're about 40 to 60,000 a year, right? They're 40 to 60,000 a year. I'm sorry, no they're not. I'm fucking stupid. You have National Weather Service jobs, and they make six figures. All right, they make six figures. But the problem is there are, I say yes, low supply because, but you have to understand that every college major, regardless of supply, half the kids go to college. Like 40% of America goes to colleges, right? So obviously it's not going to be like 2 people graduated with a meteorology degree, right? So you have thousands of people, right? Thousands of people that are competing for this six-figure National Weather Service job, and there's only about 10,000 employees, right, of the National Weather Service, which sounds like a lot. But first of all, not all of them are high-paying. Second of all, not all of them, I mean, some of them I imagine are just bullshit jobs. And third of all, it's just not, I forgot my third point. It's just not, it's bullshit, right? Third of all, there's thousands and thousands of majors. So 10,000 jobs, while it sounds promising, there are thousands that graduate each year with meteorology degrees, although it is a very rare major to graduate from, right? It does not mean there's going to be 2 people, right? College does have a lot of people, and so meteorology will have a lot of people. But in comparison to other careers and job paths or other degrees that people attain, it's rare. Does that make sense? So if there's 3 million people that go to college and 20,000 select meteorology, well, that's kind of rare. That's like less than 1%, right? So overall in the market, there's a low supply, but there's also a low demand, right? So 10,000 employees working for the National Weather Service, when you have thousands each year graduating with meteorology degrees, is a problem. And what that signifies is, yes, there are six-figure jobs out there, but you're going to most likely have to get a master's or a PhD to even be in the realms of competitive within these jobs, right? Whereas other jobs, the same thing is happening where, a lot of the bullshit HR departments will basically say, oh, well, you have to have a PhD, because they know that they get so many people sucking on their toes for a fucking job, right? Oh, you need to have a PhD in this job. Meanwhile, the HR people have an IQ of like, well, actually, I don't even want to get into IQ. IQ is whatever, right? I don't want to sound arrogant. But they're just stupid. They're stupid people, and meanwhile, they're asking for fucking... They don't even know how to produce in society, really, and they handle bullshit corporate complaints, and they want a PhD candidate. They have the right to ask for a PhD candidate? Like, fuck you. Fuck you, HR. 4 years for a data science degree, and you're going to basically say PhDs only because you can. Like, fuck off. HR is such a worthless piece of shit. But anyways, yes, you can get a bachelor's in engineering, in data science, in software system, whatever, and you can make six figures. And there are plenty of jobs that are six figures. It's high demand. Not many people can do calculus, right? So it's low supply, and you have a good life, right? And I want to get into why I care about so much money if I'm a stoic and if I'm a minimalist, okay? It sounds very contradictory, but I promise you it's not. We're just going to finish with this thought before we move on, okay? So basically, there's all these people competing for this one job, one National Weather Service job, and only PhD people that are getting out in the world at fucking 30 years old are actually going to hold those jobs. When you could have gotten a six-figure salary job at 23. I am not kidding you. That sounds like a dream. But there are literally entry-level data scientist jobs that go for $120,000 a year, even when you select entry-level on Indeed. Some don't even require college degrees. I know I say, oh, but, HR requires PhD. Some kind of don't, and some do, right? There's extremes on both ends. Some employers don't care about a college degree. And if you can do the skills, they don't care. I mean, a college degree will help, but It's not required. Whereas others, the fucking HR departments, useless pieces of shit, liberal scumbags, basically will say, you need a PhD. Meanwhile, they slam their fat fingers on the keyboard on Indeed.com for what they want. Like, fuck you. Anyways, yeah. I at least believe that HR does it. Whoever does it, okay, I just know HR is a piece of shit. Wow, I don't know why this Rallison. Oh, okay, I see. And so pretty much, how do they not notice yet? Okay. Anyways, so yeah, that's pretty much it, right? That's pretty much it, right? And the other jobs for meteorology majors, which are, but by the way, very few, are 40,000 a year AccuWeather jobs. Basically, sitting at a desk job, probably drawing some graphs about what the models predict instead of actually making models, right? Or interviewing in a news website, right? About, oh, this is what the model is going to say. Is that instead of creating models or doing calculus or any of that, you're just sitting at a crummy desk job that a fucking 9-year-old could do. That's what I imagine AccuWeather to be, basically. Or any of these private weather organizations. The AI does all the work, right? And these are all corporate workers. They're not really meteorologists. So you can work 40K a year after doing years of calculus, years of physics, years of thermodynamics. No. So I decided to switch majors. Oh, and here's the other thing. The college that I went to, I was a reject. And the reason why was because they're so fucking woke. I was in this group. I'm not going to mention the name, but basically they were so woke. They had the LGBT flag 24/7, and I have rights to speak about that because I am a bisexual and asexual, right? And to have the LGBT woke flag on our fucking as our fucking Discord logo for 365 days a year, yeah, you're a piece of shit, basically. Uh, we don't need to change the we should change the server logo, right? I mean, fuck you, okay? Fuck you with your woke bullshit. I basically got rejected in the server because basically what would happen is I would talk about my personal matters. Okay, yeah, that's pretty bad. I mean, it's a college organization, right? It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad, right? But they didn't warn me properly. What they did was they would ping everyone in the Discord server, please don't bring up these matters, right? I chat in there a lot, so I don't have any idea whether it's relating to me or not. I get muted after talking about, this is what I got muted for a week. This was the final straw. I talked about eating a cannoli and how I don't want to gain a lot of weight from eating the cannoli. And somebody was like, that's triggering. So they muted me for a week because, boo-hoo, somebody can't. I mean, people go to fucking war and see their friends blow up. And meanwhile, your dyed hair, nose ring looking ass is saying, that's triggering. Oh my god, you want to maintain your weight or lose a little weight after eating a cannoli? That could be very triggering. We should send these people into, like, war and see how that toughens them up. No, I'm serious. These people, some of these people that can go into war, right? Let's see what that does to them. It'll toughen them up, right? It'll toughen them up. I don't mean this seriously. Don't actually think I believe that we should do this, but literally, let's do it, right? Let's see how triggered they get when let's see how triggered they get when somebody talks about maintaining their weight. And then they go into war and see their fucking intestine all over the place because a fucking bomb ripped them to shreds, and their friends to shreds. Let's just see how they react, right? I can't stand woke bullshit. I can't stand HR. I can't stand any of this. So, yeah, I switched majors and I switched colleges because I'd get free tuition at another college. Okay, great, wonderful, done. We're done with that, right? Oh, here's the connecting part. While I was at my college, basically, I hated it because I basically hated it because there were 4 people using the bathroom and there was always somebody fucking taking a shit in there. It was so annoying. When I wanted to shower shit, there was always this one guy that would shit constantly. And I swear to God, this guy had an intestinal issue or something. I don't know what the fuck kind of bullshit he's been putting in his body or whatever, but man, what the fuck? Like, this dude would take a shit all the time, every single time that I would go in there, okay? We're already 15 minutes in. It's going to take all night to upload this, so I better hurry. Anyways, so basically, I got insecure, right? I got insecure. I wanted to switch majors, partially because I wanted a big house. Not just because meteorology was kind of a useless degree, but because I wanted a bigger house, a nicer car, because I felt deprived, right? And you might be saying, but that's minimalism. Okay, but I can't stand with living with other people, right? I can't stand it, right? And after all, it's worse. Like, I have mental health issues and I need something a little more substantial, even if I am a minimalist, right? Like, I can't live in a box, right? My mental state will not allow me to do that. But at the same time, I don't want a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,500 square foot house if I'm going to be living alone, right? So, and the other reason why I hated it was not necessarily because it was really small, because I wouldn't mind living in like a 400 square foot cabin. The reason is because of where it's at. It's at a fucking college campus, right? And there's people making noise, having sex, all of that shit, right? And meanwhile, it's not in a nice forest. Like, imagine, you see this game right here, right, that I'm playing right now? Imagine if you were in the middle of a fucking forest, how beautiful this would look. Man, I'd love to live in this fucking country if it wasn't a hellhole by the government. But anyways, yeah, I mean, just look how beautiful this is. Imagine living out here in a house, right? Wouldn't that be beautiful? But anyways, I want to see. Yeah, there's like nice forests and shit. Basically, I wanted a bigger house and a bigger car, right? Again, sounds super, super non-stoic-y and non-minimalism, but here's where it rolls in, right? So I realize essentially that basically if I want a nicer car and a nicer house, I'm going to be knee high in debt all the time, right? Because I'll always want a nicer house, always want a nicer car. So basically what it is a nicer house and a nicer car is meant to grant you freedom, right? It's freedom. It's, you know, you get a nice leather car and you get, you know, a nicer house. But as long as you have to keep working for those things and paying those things off and you keep going bigger and bigger and better, you're going to work until the day you die. And is that really what you want? Do you really want to work until the day that you die getting nicer things as freedom? Or do you actually want to be free, not have to work, go around and explore the world? And I know what you're going to say. Oh, but I would feel unfilled to society if I didn't have a job, right? If I retired at 40, I couldn't just do whatever I wanted forever because I feel unfulfilled. I got news for you. Get a fucking job at fucking Yellowstone National Park as a ranger, as a park ranger. Right? Get a job at a KOA. I mean, Jesus Christ, it's not that hard. You can get a job for outdoor-related things, you know? Like a national forest manager or something like that. Like a desk employee at a national forest. And have your own lodging, for fuck's sakes. Alright? If you're out in the middle of nowhere in a national forest, they'll give you your own house. And every single day you come to work, it will be beautiful. And every single day that you walk home, you will be in the forest and you will enjoy it. You'll have a blast and you'll be intellectually stimulated. The other thing that you can do is fucking read. That's right. I never thought I had to say this, but if you're intellectually understimulated because you don't have a job, you can read and learn things, right? And hell, you could, if you had a satellite internet where you were, you could take a whole course on Khan Academy, learn something completely new. You could get a part-time job virtually. Who knows? The endless possibilities. You can always have part-time jobs that are fun, that you want, and this is where you follow your passion, right? If you want to follow your passion, right, and, if you want to follow your passion, right, maybe sociology, making $20,000 a year, right, or whatever, do some bullshit bogus job that nobody cares about, fucking janitor, whatever, right? Well, as long as it doesn't require a college degree. But basically, if you want to follow your passion, the way to do it is by not following your passion. What do I mean by this? I mean, get a job that makes good money, right? And here is what I'm going to say, right? Nicer things, like a nicer car and a nicer house, the American dream, is dead. It's flawed in its philosophy. And not only that, but also, I sound like a communist. I'm not. Right? Because the government regulating companies and all that shit doesn't help anything, right? And it's not going to help when I talk to you about where I'm coming from next. Shit, I hit somebody. Okay, so basically, right? Basically, if you work STEM, you do a job that you don't like, and maybe you make, I don't know, 80,000 a year, and you save up, and you do all the right things, and you invest, and you increase your portfolio value by, I don't know, 60% over 30, 40 years, and you're able to retire, right? If you read books and figure out how to do things, that's what I've been doing. Then it's easier than you think. Right? Diversified indexes go up by 40% every year. Or if you have 5% CD and you have $2 million, once it matures, you'll have $100,000 pre-tax each year that you can live on for the rest of your life. Right? Why do you need $350,000 for the rest of your life? Right? Retire. Work, that's it. You're done. Right? You're done. Once you reach, $2 million or whatever, go out and retire. Or $1 million even. You don't need a lot of money. Right? Again, nicer things give you the illusion of freedom. As long as you're working for them, and you might be saying, oh, but I'm going to be debt-free with a Ferrari or a Mercedes-Benz. Good luck with that. Because even the rich guys with the McMansions and the fucking luxury Lexus cars are actually knee-high in debt, right? And they're going to have to work until the day they die. And I bet you they don't have more... I bet you a lot of these upper middle class people that live like that don't actually have money for their retirement. Only the top 1 or even half of a percent of people can afford the lifestyle that you think, where they could get anything they want, they could retire anytime, buy anything they want, and never have to work, and they can get as much nice things as they possibly can ever dream of. Okay? 0.5% or less. So, in other words, if your family is not rich to start, it's not going to be you. So just shut the fuck up with your bullshit dreams. Statistically, it's not going to work. It's just not, right? So what you need to do is you need to live a minimalist lifestyle, right? So when it comes to cars, get a used car. What the fuck is the purpose of getting a new car, right? The minute you drive it off the lot, 20% of the value, gone, right? So it might as well already be a new car. Like, seriously, it might as well. And if you get a used car that's kind of a piece of crap, but can survive 100,000 miles or so, like it has 150,000 miles on it, can survive another 100,000, right? Some of these cars cost like $6,000 or $4,000, right? And if they get wrecked, who cares? No, literally, who cares? And not only that, you don't have to afford any insurance except liability insurance. If your car is such a piece of crap, but it works, and you get to travel all around the country and view everything across the country, then guess what? Guess what? You don't... I mean, that's all you need for a car, but If it's a piece of crap, you don't need other insurance, right? You don't need collision insurance. You only need legally required liability insurance. That's it. If your car is a piece of crap, then the only thing you need is liability insurance. Welcome to that's all, guys. Okay. So, yeah. I mean, and these people have McMansions, and 3/4 of the house they never even go in. They have to heat, cool, maintain the house. If it's big enough, people have to come in and clean it. So it's not just the house itself that's expensive, but it's the bills, and it's the fucking cleaning, and it's your time and expenses into repairs that add up. So it's not just the house itself, but it's also a lot of other things, you know? And the bigger of the house you have, and the more possessions you have, and the more luxury lifestyle that you have, the more that keeps you from actually going out in the world and doing shit, right? The more that holds you up from doing it. So in some ways, not only is living the American dream a lie, but it's actually the exact opposite of what it says it is, in terms of not only having to work longer, but what your possessions actually do in your life. So, okay, so now that we got that straight, right, this is where I come in. I learned that basically it's a lie, right? American dream, materialism, all that's a lie. And this is where money comes in. Why do you need a 6-figure job? Because that's the way to retire early, right? As a Stoic, I don't care about money. But what I realize is that it's required. It is required, right? Back in the ancient Stoic days, I don't believe there was a government that would, I mean, I guess they could conquer you, but there's no like government where there's land that's all completely fenced off and owned by the federal government or private property, whatever the fuck. Whenever you drive on a highway, you see all the road is fenced, right? I'm not saying it shouldn't be, but there wasn't that back then, right? And so I agree the Stoics would probably agree with me, right? If you make $40,000 a year, you won't be able to retire. You won't be able to do a lot of the things that you want to do. What is this? Oh, it's a ski resort. That's right. It's for rich people in this game, right? So yeah, there's that, right? There's that. Basically, yeah, that's pretty much it right there. Um, Basically, money is required in this day age, right? When the Stoics were around, you could probably go outside and build a cabin and wherever the fuck, right? And basically, the philosophers would just get paid to spew their, well, not spew, to spew out of their mouths. No, they were wise. They had very good, but you see what I'm saying? They didn't have to do calculus or anything, right? They just basically said what they said and they got paid. I believe that's how it worked, okay? Ask, one of my friends was a history major. His name is Imperial Guardsman. I wonder if he's watching this. I wonder if anybody from Classical Thinkers is watching this. I highly doubt it. But anyways, yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, that's exactly it. Is holy shit. Are you fucking serious? That was awesome. What are the chances of that? I did a barrel roll with a car in Just Cause 2. I've never had that happen to me in any of the Just Cause games. That is so rare. Wow. That is so incredibly rare. I don't know how you do that. Anyways, yeah, pretty much, this is where Stoicism comes into play, right? If I were making 40 grand a year, I'd have to live for the rest of my life basically trashy. Maybe that's not true. Maybe I could live in my van for the rest of my life. Some minimalists live off of $6,000 and they live off government welfare, right? And since stupid fucking leftists keep voting for more and more welfare, why don't you just take the fucking welfare, right? You pay tax money into it, you should benefit from it, right? Who the fuck cares, right? Taking the morality out of it. Become dependent on welfare. And because as long as stupid fucking leftists keep voting for it, then as long as you keep having it. You can never technically run out of money if you're super minimalist. If you live in your van, you can do whatever the fuck you want. I would not recommend living in your van, and I am not that minimalist. I want a nice cabin out in the middle of nowhere, right? I'm looking at 200,000 a year, maybe 300,000 a year. Pretty places are expensive. You might not think that's super minimalist, but it is in some ways, right? It's not just about the money, right? Minimalism. It's not just about something that's cheap. There's a lot more to consider. So if my cabin is small, right? First of all, minimalists want to have a good life. Part of being a minimalist is being able to travel and see and do things as you like, right? And basically decluttering is getting rid of possessions that hold you from doing things. Right, so if you're out in a cabin and you spend $300,000 on a small cabin out in the middle of nowhere, and you do your job via satellite internet, first of all, satellite internet is twice as expensive, but as long as you don't have that $750 a month luxury SUV, or that $1,000 pool that you always wanted, or whatever the fuck else you spend your money on, that fucking whatever. Then guess what? You'll be fine spending $100 a month on satellite internet. It's not going to kill you, right? $1,200 a year isn't going to kill you when you're spending $500 to $600 a month on a new car, whereas a used 100,000-mile car you could buy outright. I could buy one outright right now. No, seriously, I could. I could take my $10,000 that I have in the stock market and in my bank account and buy me a car, right? Why do I have to save up for a car, right? Like, really, why do I have to save up for a car? Just get a fucking, why do I need a new car? I don't. So, yeah, that's part of minimalism, basically, is getting rid of, so if you have a small house that's easy to maintain, right, and you're out in the middle of nowhere, right? And being able to enjoy life how it is without a lot of possessions and being away from things like cities, which are, all possessive stuff. It's all materialistic, right? Then you're basically more or less following the minimalist lifestyle, even if the expense is more than, getting a $100,000 trailer, right? Although, I wouldn't also mind living in a $100,000 trailer, because I could just take my car out to the forest if I live in Oregon, in a town in Oregon. Take my car out and hike all day, every day. I don't care. I can hike literally all day, every day. Right? But I want to live in a cabin off-grid because I want to get away from society. So yeah, basically, that's the thing. That's the thing. Now is, so basically the reason why I wanted, yeah, I already explained that. Okay. And I already explained why I followed Stoicism, I believe. Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's it. I think we are all done. See ya.